Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, what we're going to talk about tonight is yet another instance of the right person with the right training in the right place preventing tragedy. This time, we're going to take a trip to Stockton, California, where a SRO, a school resource officer who was again in the right place at the right time, stopped a terrible incident from going down when a 17-year-old carried a loaded firearm into school, got into a fight, and started to use it. This is incredibly important because no matter what they tell you in California, every single gun law in the books was just violated yet again because you cannot legislate morality. Gun control is based around the premise of if it doesn't exist, therefore it cannot happen. The only problem is it does exist and you cannot prevent this from happening. The only thing that you can do is take prior precautions and prepare for when it does. And that is what we're going to talk about tonight. Everything will be linked in the description box below per usual, but I'm going to say a quick word from our sponsor, LAS Concealment, who made the videos this week possible, and then we're going to dive into it, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about this one. Now, if you're in the market for a holster for your favorite freedom tool, then you need to check out LAS Concealment. With LAS Concealment, you get a custom piece of equipment molded specifically to your personal choice of freedom. Made from Kydex and designed to keep you comfortable and safe in your day-to-day activities, with custom designs from inside and outside the waistband and multiple design options. They have what you may be looking for. Check them out in the description box below, and thank you so much to LAS Concealment for making the videos this week possible so I can bring you stories like this. Alright, as always, like I said, it is linked in the description box, but let's journey out to California together. This is from yesterday, the 15th of August. California school resource officer disarms student who pulled out loaded gun during a fight, said the police. A school resource officer disarmed the 17-year-old during the fight at Lincoln High School in Stockton, California. Okay, the point at which we have gotten to where it's acceptable in a child's mind, and I'm going to put a 17-year-old as a child, to take a loaded firearm into school for whatever reason it would be, a terrible misuse of judgment. We're in a pretty bad place if that's our moral equivalency and that's our moral decision making as a people, because you can base a people's morals and ethics based off their children and their decisions, but that's another conversation for another time. However, what I want to address here is a few things. I mentioned in the intro about having the right preparation in the right place at the right time. This was a hardening of schools that prevented what I'm about to show you from happening. This would not have been the case if someone called the police after something went down. The fact that California has the most extreme gun control laws on the books didn't do anything to prohibit this 17-year-old from carrying a loaded firearm into a school and prepare to use it in a scuffle that he got into with somebody at that school. Again, if that SRO or school resource officer had not been there, it could have been a lot worse. Again, preparing for the inevitable, not preparing and outlawing everything and saying, well, they don't exist now, so now no one's going to violate these laws. It doesn't make sense on its face. But let's get into it. There's a lot of stuff I got to show you here. A school resource officer disarmed a student who pulled out a loaded gun during a fight on Monday at a high school in Stockton, California, according to police. The suspect, a 17-year-old male, was booked in a juvenile hall on charges of battery, criminal threats, resisting arrest, and weapons charges. So this 17-year-old is resisting arrest, carried a loaded firearm into a school, was ready to use it in a fight, again, is underage. Let's just go down the list of how California laws were violated by this one teenager. You can't have a firearm if you're under 21, or a handgun under 21 in California. You have to have a gun that's on the handgun roster. Ghost guns are a no-no. You can't have those either. You can't pass a background check if you can't buy the gun because this kid is underage. Firearms are prohibited in California schools and nationwide in schools, and for most cases, there's some exceptions. All of those things didn't do anything. So yet again, you were seeing California gun laws not prevent what they're promising to prevent at the behest of your Second Amendment rights, which are being sacrificed on the altar of, it might work. It clearly doesn't work. Going back to the idea that you cannot legislate morality out of people and you cannot legislate an item out of existence. It is impossible. If that were the case, we wouldn't have drugs, we wouldn't have bombs, we wouldn't have terrorism, we wouldn't have anything. Because all those things are against the law, but it does not matter because people are going to do what they're going to do. Criminals are going to criminal. So the best thing that you can do is prepare for it. For example, every single day we talk about constitutional carry. Every single day we talk about Second Amendment rights. 50% of the states in the United States have constitutional carry for this purpose. Indiana, we just had a mall shooting stopped in its tracks by an incredible shot from 40 yards with a handgun. constitutional carry. We have an SRO right here in California who was stationed at that school who was able to break up the fight and tackle the kid to the ground when he pulled out a gun. Again, all of those things and scenarios, you can go to the girl in West Virginia who did the same thing to a crazy person with an AR. There's multiple examples of what we have covered on this channel where the right person at the right place in the right time stopped tragedy from happening, not the existing gun laws that were violated in every single one of those scenarios. But I digress. Let's keep going. Quote, when our SRO and school staff were breaking it up, our SRO saw the suspect pull out a gun from his waistband, and that's when our SRO took him down on the ground and disarmed him. Joseph Silva, a spokesperson for the Stockton Police Department, told Fox News Digital, which is what they should have done. That's exactly right. I am praising this. This is an example of hardening schools working. Quote, I want to express appreciation for the Stockton Police Department and our district safety officers, as well as the swift responses of our campus and administrative staff for their support and presence through the incidents. That's the principal. Now, something else that I want to bring your attention in summation here is this is the exact type of stuff. The SROs, having sheriffs on campus, having ARs and locked safes in North Carolina, all of these things, constitutional carry across the board, where guns are applied in a preventative measure and a precautionary measure, everything has been cursed at and said, that's a terrible idea. That's the worst thing you could possibly do because guns equal violence by the gun controllers. That's what I've got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow morning on the Bullet Points. I'm Braden. See you later.